welcome to another episode. Today's question is: do you lose energy when you get angry? Today's question is: do you lose energy when you get angry? Anger is a pretty long topic, so we will take some time to see the views, different views as usual. So, yes, the answer is we lose energy. But don't try to control anger. When anger is there fully, be with it. But once the initial emotion is down, try to observe it. From where it has come, find out that. And what caused it. And to whom the anger is caused. Once you understand the anger, it loses its power. At the time of anger, we have only emotion. The burst out happens. But afterward, we name it. We give continuity to it. Lasting relief from anger can be only achieved by understanding about ego, but most of all, forgiving and letting go. We will see comprehensively the psychological and spiritual aspects of anger. Then we will see from Sri Bhagavad Gita, translation by Swami Nirmalananda. From anger arises delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory, destruction of intelligence. All is lost. After the destruction of intelligence, all is lost. So from anger, it travels to loss of everything. Freed from desire, fear and anger, such a sage is forever free. So if you are free of anger, you are forever free. Flamboyance, arrogance, anger, self-conceit, harshness, ignorance, all these qualities belong to one born for a demonic state. So people who are with anger, conceit and other bad qualities are called demons. The character is demonic. Next we will see some quotes from Motivation and Action by Jutta Heggerson and Heinz Heggerson, editors. A prime example is anger, an emotion that motivates an individual to make up for lost ground in goal pursuit. This is the positive side of anger. If you have anger, then you want to excel where you have failed. You go on furthering your capabilities. This is the positive side of it. In contrast, sadness implies further attempts at goal pursuit will be futile. If you are sad at a failure, then you assume you are going to fail further. You are not going to recuperate from that. You don't attempt further. Whereas if you are angry at your failure, you want to reach that goal. With regard to social stimuli, individuals with strong power of motive turn away from the phases expressing anger and thus signaling dominance. So strong people, they avert anger. If somebody is angry with them, they just avoid their face. This negative appraisal triggers the general feeling of displeasure, which in turn activates corresponding thoughts, memories, expressive motor and physiological responses and feelings of anger that are linked together associatively in the network of memory. The power motive is associated with the degree of reported anger in unpleasant memories. I am most likely to feel anger or rage if I assume he or she to have acted with intent or believe that he or she could have controlled the cause of his or her behavior. After a frustrating situation has caused anger, the aggression motive system with its components is activated. So this is the positive side of anger which we have seen in this. To a limited extent, if you get angry, there is some positive side. So next we will see from Psychology, Religion and Spirituality by James M. Nelson. Solving the problem of anxiety requires correcting problems with bad objects. But instead we often just use substitute gratifications that we hope will reduce anger or pain. Gunther believed that lasting satisfaction could only be achieved by modifying object relations. He viewed anger as an outgrowth of depression, although on occasion anger could also lead to depression as when thoughts of revenge go unfulfilled. So when you think about revenge and it does not happen, then it leads to depression. The psychological literature typically defines forgiveness as a gift that is extended to another person who has wronged us. It begins when the person perceives themselves as wrongly treated by another, insulting in negative emotions like anger, changes in cognition such as loss of respect and or altered behavior such as avoidance or aggression. These negative changes lead to disruptions in relationships and social harmony. Many people in these situations respond by insisting on reparation or taking revenge on the perpetrator of the wrong in forgiveness. The person recognizes that they have the right to reparations or revenge, but they renounce it. Instead, choose to respond with compassion and love toward the perpetrator, leaving open the possibility of better relations. The psychology of special status. Joey T. Cheng, Jessica L. Tracy, Cameron Anderson, editors. Challenging another's prestige can spark anger and an impulse towards violence, suppressed one's hopes. Other antecedents may have opposite effects on the status and power. Example, anger may enhance power but diminish status. That is one thing. If you get angry, it may enhance power but it will diminish status in front of others. Subservient helping may enhance status but diminish power. If you are subservient to those who in power, then you may lose the status. You may gain the status because their own status, they will give some of it to you, but your power will be diminished. Using experienced anger to navigate the social hierarchy, Lazarus saw the basic motive to preserve or enhance self-esteem against assault as a crucial component leading to experience of anger. Others view anger as a response to violation of justice or fairness. Rosen and al. in 1999. Drawing on both these accounts, anger may function in part to inform individuals that their current social ranking is unjust and should be changed or fought. Unfair treatment, for example, being given a disproportionately small amount of shared resource, can be a sign that one is being subordinated. By feeling anger in response, individuals become motivated to punish the individual, subjecting them to unfairness, or otherwise indicate that they do not accept the suggested status quo. So next is from J.Krishnamurti, Tradition and Revolution and then On Education, 2 books. We will see quotes. There is violent anger. At the moment of anger, there is no naming. A second later, I call it anger. Then the naming of that feeling as anger is to record the fact and strengthen the past. The memory which has recognized the feeling as anger. Why do we do this? It may be a habit, a form of giving continuity to a sense of anger and not the ending of it. It will want to continue. So that's why you bring the past and give continuity to it. To be really free from anger, jealousy, brutality, cruelty, to be really free within oneself is one of the most difficult and dangerous things. Everybody wants to be free, and yet they want to express themselves. Their anger, their brutality, their ambition, their competitiveness, and so on. Philosophy of Fairness, Series 2 from Osho. From this we will see some quotes. When he says not to be angry, he does not mean repression in the sense you understand the word repression. When he says don't be angry, he is not telling you to repress your anger. He is telling you to transcend anger. And they are tremendously different. Not only different, but diametrically opposite. If you try not to be angry, you will repress anger. If you try to transcend anger, you will not repress anger. On the contrary, you will have to understand anger. You will have to watch anger. In watching is transcendence. If you repress anger, the anger goes into your unconscious. You become more and more poisoned. It is not good. It is not healthy. It is going to drive you to neurotic sooner or later. One day or other, the accumulated anger will explode, and that will be far more dangerous because then it will be absolutely uncontrollable by you. Then it is better to be finished with it every day in small doses. Those doses are homeopathic. Once in a while, when you feel angry, be angry. That is far healthier than accumulating anger for a few years and then one day exploding. Then it will be too much. You will not be able to be conscious of what you are doing. You will be absolutely mad. You may do something tremendously harmful to yourself or to somebody else. You may murder someone or you may commit suicide. Pythagoras is not saying to repress it. No enlightened person can ever say to repress it. He is saying to transcend it, go beyond it. Transcendence is a totally different process. In transcendence, you don't repress anger and you don't express it either. You know only two ways to deal with anger, expression or repression. And the real way to deal with it is either. It is not expression. Because if you express anger, you create anger in another. Then it becomes a chain. Then the other expresses it. Then again you are provoked. Then where is it going to end? The more you express, the more it becomes a habit, a mechanical habit. The more you express it, the more you are practicing it. It will be difficult for you to get out of it, out of this fear. Repression arose. Don't express, because it brings great misery to you, to others, and to no point. It makes you ugly. It creates ugly situations in life. Then you have to pay for all that. Slowly, it becomes such a habit that it becomes your second nature. Out of fear of expression, repressions arose. But if you repress, you are accumulating the poison. It is bound to explode. The third approach, the approach of all the enlightened people of the world, is neither to express nor repress, but watch. When anger arises, sit silently. Let the anger surround you in your inner world. Let the cloud surround you. Be silent watcher. See, this is anger. Buddha has said to his disciples, when anger arises, listen to it. Listen to its message. Remember again and again. Go on feeling yourself. Anger. Keep alert. Don't fall asleep. Keep alert that anger is surrounding you. You are not it. You are the watcher of it. That is where the key is. An insult may trigger anger, then translate into aggressive behavior. So the whole thing is that don't repress anger. If you repress, it will accumulate in your heart and it will explode at some time, dangerously, putting you into trouble and others into trouble. You may land up behind the law if you repress so much of anger, or it may affect completely your health, the other end of it. You may collapse. So all this will lead to aggressive behavior, but transcend anger, understand anger. So that is it. Next we will see 18 joyous teachings of Baal Shem Tov, chapter on joy of sweetness. Sweetens judgment, a parable. Joy sweetens judgment, that is a parable. We will see that the parable from Baal Shem Tov. There are angels, they wait to sing their song only once in 7 years. Others sing once in 50 years, or even once in 1,000 years. Whatever they say is brief and to the point. Some say holy, others say blessed. Some say a single verse. It is said about certain angels that each one says one verse from the chapter of Psalms that begins, "Give thanks to God, for He is good." Yet we Jews are permitted to say praises at any time or season, and to draw out the praises, songs, and raptures as much as we wish. The Jews are allowed to say praises, songs, or raptures as much as they wish, anytime. So the best way to understand is through a parable, which Bhagavad says. It is like a king to whom all the servants and officers come and recite hymns of praise. Each has his appointed quota of time to speak of his praise, each according to his position and importance. Yet this happens only when the king is in a favorable mood. When the king is upset or angered, then all are afraid to provide him any praise whatsoever. Because it will be the opposite. He is angry and you are praising him and he will shout at you. Why are you praising the king at the time of fury? Others will tell you. So due to the concern, the king may, heaven forbid, not be in the best moods, or that he may be angered due to something or other. They are accustomed to be as brief as possible at all times and make a hasty exit. Yes, when the king's dear and precious son enters, he has no such concerns. For even if the king was in a state of anger, the very sight of his precious son brings him joy and delight. The anger dissipates of its own, obviously never returns. All the time his son stands before him, as is human nature. The son therefore has no worries and enters at any time he so wishes and exudes praise without end. For he knows that this brings the king, his father, joy and delight. Why is it this way? Why do anger and fury disappear when joy and love enter? Yes, this is human nature, but nevertheless we must try to understand how and why. Possible that what occurs is when love and joy dominate, they cause anger and fury to ascend upward toward their root. They are sweetened, as it is known that forces of strict judgment are sweetened only when they reach their root. That is, if you are happy. If you see your loved ones, then the anger goes off. So, love everyone, be compassionate, that dissipates the anger. So with this, we will end the topic on anger. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.